Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Today is March 23rd, 2013. I'm Holly Seiler. Leading our news tonight, a Fairbanks grand jury has indicted a 50-year-old man on a second-degree murder charge connected to last week's shooting of another man. Anthony Wayne Charleston remains in jail on a no-bail status, accused of shooting 59-year-old David Shy to death on March 12th. Court records say Charleston, apparently angered over a verbal exchange between Shy and a woman identified as Carol Haley, confronted Shy. Charleston told authorities in the midst of the confrontation, Shy assaulted him. Charleston said he then pulled a .45 caliber handgun from his pocket and shot David Shy twice. As Haley called 911, Charleston waited for authorities. Also indicted earlier this week, a 20-year-old Fairbanks man accused of sexually abusing a child younger than the age of 13. Dylan Mitchell is charged with a single count of attempted sexual abuse of a minor in the first degree. Mitchell will be arraigned in state court on the charge next week. A 22-year-old man from the interior village of Ruby, who's accused of stabbing his brother in late June 2012, is asking for more time to think about whether he wants to accept a plea deal with state prosecutors or not. Daniel Charles Ambrose is charged with a single count of felony assault in the first degree. Authorities say the attack allegedly occurred the morning of June 24th in Galena. Galena police responded to the village clinic to a report of a stabbing. They spoke to a man there with a stab wound that fully penetrated the underside of his right upper arm. The man said he and his brother, later identified as Ambrose, were fighting and Ambrose stabbed him. That's according to court records. Police arrested Ambrose, who was standing at the bedside holding his brother's hand. Further hearings in the case were set for next week. A 62-year-old artist and woodsman from Nenana, who was charged with more than 24 felony and misdemeanor counts of illegally selling and exporting Alaska animal parts, has struck a plea deal with the federal government. During hearings Friday in federal court here in Fairbanks, Miles Martin pleaded guilty to 4 different felony counts and will serve between 6 and 10 months in prison and pay a fine of $6,750. As part of the deal, Martin can no longer participate or conduct any business related to wildlife or assist others in doing the same. Martin pleaded guilty to the illegal sale of migratory birds, violating the Lacey Act, smuggling goods from the United States, and conspiracy to violate the Lacey Act, which prohibits the illegal sale of wildlife. Sentencing was set for June 7th, also in Fairbanks. The deadline to apply for the 2013 Alaska Permanent Fund Dividend is fast approaching. The application process for PFD checks began January 1st and continues through March 31st at 11:59 p.m. That's next Sunday evening. State officials say the last day to file a 2013 PFD application at one of their 3 locations in Fairbanks, Anchorage, and Juneau will be this Friday, March 29th. Offices will be open until 4:30 p.m. that day. Paper applications will not be accepted at these offices after 4:30 p.m. on the 29th. All 2013 paper applications received by the division must be postmarked no later than Sunday, March 31st in order to be accepted as timely filed. The news center will keep you posted this week if the Postal Service will have special weekend hours to accommodate those mailing in applications. Officials say all envelopes with applications that are postmarked on April 1st or after will be denied as late applications. The amount of the 2012 dividend was $878 for each eligible Alaskan. Area cancer survivors and other citizens are getting together to do their part for the Relay for Life cause. A bagel and beading party was the order of the day this morning at the Fairbanks Native Association's Hannah Solomon building downtown. As part of Hopeful Connections, those involved are learning to make beaded pins in order to give to survivors and caregivers during the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life. Hopeful Connections can also be found on Facebook as well. No overall experience was necessary at today's event. Citizens were urged to simply bring themselves, a friend, their creativity, and their own coffee.
Right now we're working on a large project to welcome every survivor and caregiver who comes to Relay for Life by making handmade Athabascan beaded pins that every person will get when they arrive at Relay for Life.
I'm here because my mom's a breast cancer survivor. I helped her go through chemo. I was kind of her caregiver. So the whole experience it threw me for a loop. So Ellen found us actually through a survey that she did, and through that they formed a group. So that's what I'm doing here.
When we come back, our own Daryl Clark will break down the summer construction plans up on the hill, and Big Brothers Big Sisters knocks down pins for kids. We'll have those stories and much more when the Interior's only weekend newscast returns. Stay with us. Welcome back. Those attending or visiting the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus this summer and the next will have to negotiate around several major construction projects and the closure of a portion of the main road. News Center 11's Daryl Clark has more.
For the next several summers, the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus will be inundated with cranes. Construction cranes, that is, when as many as 5 different projects will begin construction. One of the largest projects, the new engineering building on main campus.
The engineering building will be noticeable from the south side of campus. You will be able to see that as you approach campus, and it's a beautiful looking building. It's 5 stories tall, and it will join the current Duckering building to the Bunnell building, so they'll kind of become one complex.
The project will close a large portion of Tanana Loop, the main throughway for access to Upper Campus. UAF Facilities Services plans additional shuttle services from existing parking lots and a temporary road to help ease traffic congestion.
For parking, we will still have the Taku parking lot off of Farmers Loop open, and we'll have pretty good shuttle service coming up from that lot into Woods Center. The Nenana parking lot, which was all tore up last summer, the good news is that won't be tore up, and that'll be open and available for parking. There'll be a shuttle that brings people from that location up to the Eielson complex.
The road closure will last 2 years. A wall reconstruction in the UAF Music Department will also take out the Fine Arts Building parking lot for the duration of summer. Pedestrian traffic will also need to be aware of another large project, the expansion of the William Wood Center,
which moves all of our dining facilities into the Wood Center. Construction on that project begins April 15th about. It won't actually close roads, but it will affect a lot of pedestrian traffic around campus, and there'll be a lot of digging.
Another project is scheduled for the Butrovich building and parking lot as well. One temporary casualty to all the construction is the Fairbanks Summer Arts Festival, which will use other facilities and churches in the Fairbanks community to hold classes. There is a silver lining, however. The newly built Life Sciences facility is almost ready for occupancy and will be fully open by fall. Campus officials are reaching out to students, faculty, staff, and would-be visitors to the main campus now so that they can negotiate the university with as little trouble as possible. Daryl Clark, News Center 11.
3 days of lectures, discussions, and programs titled By the People, 100 Years of Representative Government in Alaska, 1913 to 2013 began Thursday evening on the University of Alaska Fairbanks campus. The 3-day event included 3 journalist panelists, Mike Carey, Dermot Cole, and Mike Dugan, talking about the past, present, and future of the Alaska press. Other subjects included current and former legislators discussing the balance of power between the government and the legislature. Also included the evolution of human rights in Alaska.
Alaska's legislature was created in 1913. And we're using these 3 days to look back at the what representative government has meant to the people of Alaska, because it really is a thing that we sort of take for granted, but it's absolutely vital for people to understand what representative government is, because it gives them, I think, a better understanding of how difficult it is to actually govern yourself.
As the temperatures get warmer, building season is approaching us fast. The Interior Alaska Building Association is here to help you this weekend with more than 150 booths representing everything from financing to new construction to remodeling furniture. The IAB Home Show is also a chance to showcase new businesses in the Fairbanks area. First-time Home Show participant Charles Wilson from Wilson & Wilson Construction explains what the exposure means to an up-and-coming business.
It's a lot of fun. I get to explain to a lot of new people, who I am, what I've done, what I can do for them, showcase a couple things, meet a couple other contractors and vendors out there, and it just really helps you get your name out.
The Interior Alaska Building Association Home Show continues at the Carlson Center tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bowlers were out today doing their thing and doing it for a good cause. It's Big Brothers Big Sisters annual fundraiser, Bowl for Kids' Sake. The money they raise supports programs around the state, and this year the goal is to do even better than the last year. There are different ways bowlers raise money. Some gather donations while others pledge money based on their scores. Although Big Brothers Big Sisters consists of many volunteers, this is the biggest fundraiser to help support their program.
Basically, this event is it's a lot of fun. It's the party after the fundraising. You come, you bowl, you have face painting, we have silent auction going, we have 50-50, we have music, so it can be a little loud and be a little crazy. And it goes directly to support a program that really, truly makes a huge difference in the lives of our children and our own community. It stays right here in Fairbanks and changes the children's lives in Fairbanks. We see the benefits right here locally.
Coming up in sports, March Madness Alaska heats up down in the state's largest city. Joe Cook is down there, and Daryl Lewis is anxiously waiting in the wings with that and more. Mr. Lewis will return in just a few moments. Stay tuned.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Daryl Lewis here in the sports seat for you on a beautiful Saturday evening. We're going to get right down to brass tacks. Sullivan Arena State High School Basketball Championships on the 3A boys level. Now, Anchorage Christian School, the 2011 3A boys state champions late Friday, made short work of Archie Young's Mount Edgecombe team. 81-41 was the final. And the defending 3A boys champion Monroe Catholic Rams taking on the Bethel Warriors. Joe Cook has been covering the tournament from Sullivan Arena in Anchorage. Joe, the floor is yours.
Monroe boys team handled Grace Christian 50-29 in the quarterfinal. The only thing standing in their way from the 3A state title berth is Bethel, who was coming off a win over Seward. In the first quarter, the bigs got it started for Monroe, Michael Hale and Christian Nickerson to end one. Then the guards followed suit with Tyler Wells and Scooter Bynum hitting shots, but Bethel was hanging around, hitting timely shots to stay within reach. It was 26-20. Monroe, but Jalen McCullough gave Monroe some momentum, hitting this three right before halftime. 29-20 Monroe. In the second half, it would be more Monroe. What's wrong with that? Jetting out to a 10-0 run and take a 39-26 lead in the third, but Bethel would not go quietly, taking advantage of an emotional shift as David Stepovich fouls out midway through the third quarter. And then Taylor Hoffman, this three-pointer made it 46-37, a 9-point game. Hoffman finished with 11 points, but the difference was Michael Hale. His size impacted the game. Hale had 11 points, 5 for 5 shooting. And then the difference maker, Scooter Bynum, who had a big game, 18 points and 9 rebounds to lead the Rams in a 59-43 win and a 3A state title berth.
We were too loose with the ball, and then they were making us pay, so we knew we had to be tougher with the ball. But they were going to knock it down every time, so we had to be tougher with the ball. We responded well. We stuck together. Nobody started arguing. Nobody started pointing fingers, and we broke their press pretty well. I thought we did great. We stayed composed, and we were real tough tonight, so came out with a good win.
Which would lead us to the state title game late this afternoon. Monroe and ACS fighting and playing for the big chip for the third time in the last 3 seasons. Junior Scooter Bynum, who you just saw in that interview Friday night, bust out of the starting gate like a monster, 12 points in the first quarter to get the party started. Monroe up 12 late in the second quarter. They would take that margin into the locker room at recess. Third quarter, ACS would mount a comeback. You didn't think they'd just go away, did you? That would continue in the fourth quarter as well. Lions drawing to within 3 points with about 5 minutes left. This game would go down to the wire. A big three by sophomore Jalen McCullough with just about 90 seconds left in the game to put Monroe up 6. Monroe would hold off the pesky Lions from there. Bynum finishes with 16, David Stepovich 19, and Franco Stanek and the Monroe Catholic boys repeat as 3A boys state champions. Final score 60-52. More state tournament action Saturday and consolation action. Interior teams, for the most part, not folding the proverbial tent after a tough loss on Friday. In girls 3A action, the Hutchinson Hawks rebounded from a loss to Barrow to beat up on Sitka 46-24. 3A State Player of the Year, Mimi Wood, 18 points, 7 steals, 5 boards in her final game for Hutch. Oh, by the way, Barrow wins 3A state 69-59 over ACS. 6'6" center Lynette Heppa, who gave Hutch fits on Friday, did the same to the Lady Lions. 26 points, 17 boards. In girls 4A action, the Lathrop girls were defeated by the Colony Knights 47-32 on Saturday. Lady Malamutes get 17 points, 8 boards from Ruthie Hebert, another 13 from Jasmine White. But Arisha Talley's last game in a Lathrop uniform, forgettable. Talley held scoreless on Saturday. And the Lathrop boys ended the season out with a bang. 20 points from Tremont Washington, 11 from Kyle Carlson, and another 10 from Gabriel Cunningham. They beat up on the Palmer Moose, final score 58-41. Life on ice. Junior hockey news, and the Kenai River Brown Bears are being a help and a hindrance for the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. You can best believe that. Last weekend, they helped the Dogs jump into first place in the NAHL West Division by sweeping a 3-game series from the Wenatchee Wild. Lots of love there. But now those same Brown Bears are trying to knock the Ice Dogs back out of the top spot. Last night, they moved a step closer to doing just that. Now, Kenai River nailed down a 5-4 shootout win against Fairbanks on Friday night at the Soldotna Sports Center, leaving the Ice Dogs in a tie for the top spot with Wenatchee. The Ice Dogs have a 38-15-4 record for 80 points, while Wenatchee is almost even with a 37-14-6 mark for 80 points as well. Each team has 3 games remaining in the regular season. Both the Dogs and the Kenai River are back in action tonight. And then both teams switch venues next weekend. Dogs and Brown Bears squaring off at the Dipper. Now, coming up next week, more from state basketball, and Ice Dogs wrap up as well, plus Native Youth Olympics gearing up as well. And that's going to do it for Sports on a Saturday. Thanks for rolling with me for a spell. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and download our mobile app, whatever's your flavor. But for now, stick and stay. Don't go away, because Holly's back with your weather forecast. She's next. We'll see ya.
It was getting a little crazy down in Anchorage.
Oh, it's crazy, you know. Joe's been having a good time.
Oh,
He's been having too much fun.
Too much fun.
Time for him to get back home.
Time for him to come home.
So weather, speaking of fun.
It's been nice.
It's been real nice.
It's been really nice. We're going to get on into it. This is our Fairbanks Almanac for March 23rd. It shows a normal high of 29 degrees and a low of 1 degree. The record high was set in 1915 at 53 degrees, and the record low of 48 below was set in 1907. The sun rose this morning at 7:40 a.m. and will set tonight at 8:19 p.m. It's going to give us 12 hours and 39 minutes of daylight, a 7-minute gain since yesterday. Here is weather around our great state today. Fort Yukon is overcast with a chance of snow. Barrow is feeling 20-mile-per-hour wind with mostly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies are moving over Nome with up to 10-mile-per-hour wind. We woke up to a good amount of snow this morning in Fairbanks. We'll continue to see that with mostly cloudy skies. Healy is calling for partly cloudy skies with a chance of snow. There is a chance of snow in Juneau as well with overcast skies. Ketchikan and Bethel are seeing partly cloudy skies. Cold Bay is getting a nasty combo of snow, rain, and overcast skies. Mostly cloudy skies are moving over Homer and Kodiak. Valdez and Anchorage are overcast today with a chance of snow. On to the lower 48. Seattle is partly cloudy with highs in the high 40s. It's clear in Las Vegas with up to 20-mile-per-hour wind and highs in the low 60s. Denver is expected to be partly cloudy with a chance of snow, highs in the low 20s. Dallas is mostly cloudy with a chance of rain, highs in the mid-50s. Chicago is mostly cloudy as well with heavy wind chill and highs in the 40s. It's partly cloudy in Miami with a chance of rain and highs in the high 80s. And lastly, New York is clear today with highs in the mid-40s. Tomorrow's forecast for up north shows overcast skies in Barrow and Nome. Barrow will also see some scattered snow showers. Fort Yukon will be partly cloudy with up to 20-mile-per-hour wind. The interior is warming up thanks to the recent snowfall. Mostly cloudy skies and continued snowfall is expected in both Fairbanks and Healy. However, Fairbanks wind chill could make it feel like 25 below tonight. Overcast skies are projected in Juneau with a chance of snow. A chance of rain is expected for Ketchikan with partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy skies are moving over Bethel and Cold Bay tomorrow, and Kodiak is expected to be overcast with snowfall. Valdez and Homer are projected to see overcast skies with snowfall. Homer will be mostly cloudy with a chance of snow as well. And we'll see that snow tonight too with an overnight low of 11 below. Strong wind will make it feel like 20 below tonight, so bundle up. And tomorrow we'll just see a chance of snow with mostly cloudy skies and a daily high of 14 degrees, a Sunday overnight low of 1 degree. And this is our extended forecast for the upcoming work week. Tuesday is the wild card as we could dip down to almost 20 below. But other than that, the week looks great. Double-digit highs and single-digit negative lows until I see you back here next Saturday. And I don't know if you could see that, but that's at almost 40 degrees above zero next Friday.
Exactly.
So
good.
We always have something to look forward to.
Always something to look forward to.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're really glad you could join us.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11, sorry for that pause, or online anytime at webcenter11.com. Also, come on back here bright and early Monday morning for that other Lewis, JR, as he has the Fairbanks Morning News as well as your morning updates.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.